So a new LinkedIn survey shows that our teams are completely overwhelmed with artificial intelligence. And as business leaders, as business owners, we need to be aware of what's going on throughout our team because the numbers are pretty shocking. Today I'm going to review the results of this survey, but I just want to highlight that it's not surprising that our teams are overwhelmed with artificial intelligence and the scale of which it's happening. I mean, listen, Goldman Sachs predicts 300 million jobs displaced by the end of 2030. Gen Z can't find jobs. Companies are spending billions of dollars in these tools with the promise that everything is going to be more efficient. They're predicting layoffs by the millions. Software companies are firing people like crazy. It's a very tumultuous time. And let's face it, our employees and our team, they want stability. The stakes are high, guys. So in today's video, I'm just going to briefly speak with all the business leaders, business owners to get an understanding of what's happening with our teams, what is happening with the professional community when it comes to artificial intelligence. And we're going to look at some of the numbers and some of the responses. And I was very surprised by some, others were not surprising. But I think it's important that we understand what's going on with our teams, guys. So this LinkedIn survey surveyed over 2,000 workers. It shows that 51% of professionals say learning AI feels like another job. It feels like another job. And why is that? Well, companies have slowed hiring for entry-level positions. I recorded a video on this a few days ago. Guys, college graduates cannot find jobs. The unemployment rate just this year has jumped from 5.8% to 6.6%. And I get it. Why do you need to hire an SDR when AI can do your SDR work, qualify your leads, and put them into your sales pipeline? Why do you need more customer service reps when you could just have an AI chatbot do it? Why do you need all these different entry-level roles when AI can do it? Secretaries, call management, data entry, AI can do it. So why not just stop hiring at the entry level, give AI tools to your other workers and say, you guys figure it out. That's what's happening. Is that good leadership to you? Is that good leadership? I don't know. On the other side, the bosses are saying, like, learn this or get fired. I recorded another video on this a few weeks ago too. The Coinbase CEO told his entire team, guys, start using AI or you're out by Saturday. And that's what he did. He fired people, pushed people out because they wouldn't learn the tools. And I get that. We need to be efficient. We need to be testing new things. The market is changing dramatically. AI tools are legit. They are for real. But going in and just saying, learn this or get fired, is that right? Is that the right way to handle it? The other problem is, as bosses and as companies, we're not giving any real structure, guardrails, training. We're going to a conference. We're going to a dinner with our friends, with our colleagues. We're getting all hyped up. We listen to a podcast. We're getting all hyped up on these AI tools and we're saying, all right, guys, I just watched this really sick video about ChatGPT. Everyone needs to start using it. But without the proper guide rails, what are they going to do? They're going to be completely overwhelmed. They're not going to know how to handle it. If you don't put in place KPIs, if you don't put it back into place feedback loops, they're not going to get it. And that's what's happening. And our professionals, in our teams, in our workforce are becoming completely overwhelmed, confused, destabilized, unsure of how they're being measured, what they're being measured for. It's a big problem. Now, the other piece of data that I thought was interesting here is 41% of professionals say the pace of AI change takes a toll on their well-being. In fact, there's an 82% increase on LinkedIn about people posting about feeling overwhelmed this year. Is this surprising? Because AI news is like drinking from a fire hose. There is so much news happening every day. And as mentioned before, the stakes are really high. Our teams feel like if they don't keep up, heck, as business owners, as CEOs, as founders, we feel like if we can't keep up, we're going to become obsolete. I mean, I'm just going to give you a quick breakdown of some of the updates that have happened on some of the major platforms. This is not all of them, but I just want to give you a quick breakdown. January, DeepSeek releases R1. February, ChatGPT 4.5. February, Anthropic's Claude 3.7 Sonnet drops. March, DeepSeek version 3. April, OpenAI releases O3 and O4 Mini. Also in April, 4.0 is released by ChatGPT and replaces ChatGPT 4. April, also in April, Claude 4 drops Open and Sonnet. July, Grok 4 and Grok 4 Heavy release. August, Anthropic, Claude Opus 4.1. August, ChatGPT 5 drops. Guys, there's a new champion coming out every month. Multiple times a month. And I mean, we haven't even gotten into Gemini and Llama and all these other AI tools. It's like every day, every week, every month, there's some big shift in the way that we should be using AI in our businesses, right? It's a lot to keep up with. Not to mention, by the time you figured out one software, another software is what you should be using. It's tough, guys. We need. It's a very challenging time to set a specific parameter in place and say this is the tool that I want you to use, because there's a new tool coming out every day, and every tool that comes out is the latest and greatest. I think it's confusing and overwhelming. It's leading to this massive overwhelm in our professional teams. Another stat that I thought was shocking here: 47% of professionals say they're not using AI to its fullest capacity, and 30% never use AI. Why is this? We talked about it. The tech keeps changing. As leaders, we're giving no clear guidelines. We're just saying, hey, here's the newest tool, go figure it out. That's not good enough. That's not fair to them. I'm working with a client now, and I've been doing the marketing and generating leads, running Google ads, media buying, YouTube management for this client. We've been generating a good amount of leads, hundreds of leads a week. But there was a problem in that when these leads would go in, they would kind of dissolve. The sales team was not converting. The data was unclear. It was hard to get good reporting done. Just over the past month, we were able to get a 70% increase in our marketing qualified leads coming in. I mean, it's some really good trends, right? In any event, the sales leader left the company, which left a vacuum. So I started kind of diving into some of the playbooks, the key practices, diving into their HubSpot account, trying to figure out, why are these leads not turning into sales? Well, guys, the SDR was not given clear instructions on how to handle. There was no definition on what qualifies as a marketing qualified lead, what qualifies as a lead, what qualifies as a sales qualified lead. In fact, and this was kind of crazy to me, the SDR for this company wasn't even able to set up sales deals in the pipeline for a sales team. So the handoff process was clunky. I mean, you can't expect, you can't expect to get a great result if you're not giving clear guidelines, if you're not giving clear definitions, if your team doesn't know what they're being graded on, how they're being tracked and measured. That's leading to huge problems. And again, that's leading to this 47% feel like they're not using AI very well. But it gets even worse than that. I recorded a video on this a few weeks ago about the Coinbase CEO laying off his team. Well, there was a study that we covered in there that showed that 1 in 3 workers have actively sabotaged AI rollouts. They're refusing to use the AI tools. They're avoiding training altogether. And in some cases, they're intentionally generating low quality outputs. They're putting in crap prompts, crap data, getting crap results and saying AI doesn't work. But whose fault is that? Is the business leader, that's your fault. As the owner, as the founder, it's your fault. Because we haven't given these guys clear guidelines on how to use the tools. We haven't given clear measurements, clear KPIs, clear reporting on which to judge them. It's all kind of like, well, it feels like it's saving us time. My friend Jim is doing it, so it must be worthwhile. I heard it on a podcast. Guys, that's not enough. Additionally, 39% of professionals feel nervous talking about AI in professional settings. They're walking on eggshells. People are getting fired left and right. They're in some cases they're worried that the AI is going to take their job, or they feel like they're not keeping up with the latest trend. It's shocking. It's really sad, to be honest. And quite frankly, if you want to make sure you're up on the latest trends, you need to subscribe to my newsletter, guys. AIupdate.ai. It is totally free. I'm bringing you the latest news, the stuff that's relevant. prompts, tools, the stuff that you can really use to scale your business, to stay relevant, respected, financially free. Because let's face it, when you're sitting down at dinner, if 30% of your employees are not using AI at all, they're just not going to be able to compete. They're not going to be relevant. And I feel like as a business leader that I have a duty to my team to keep them relevant. So this 41%, this 39% that feel like they can't have an intellectual conversation about AI, they're afraid to look uninformed. They feel like they're going to get fired because they can't speak the language. They're just lost. They've learned, in some cases, they've learned how to do something one way over the last 10, 20 years, and now they are told they have to do something differently. Have you ever run into that before? Where you're in your organization and there's a few people that just don't want to do things differently. They want to keep doing things the way they've always done it. That's not helpful. So what do you do? What do you do? As a business leader, what do you do to get a better result? We know that AI is the future. We know that's where things are going. We need to get our teams on board. We need to build a culture that is innovative, that is curious, that is adaptable to these new tools. So what do? Well, the first thing we need to do is we need to set clear guidelines, guys. We need to make sure that we lay down the clear KPIs. What are people judged on? How are you going to be held accountable? I just sent a message over to our SDR the other day because I kind of taking on this project that I mentioned on before. And I said, listen, just so you know, this is what qualifies as a lead, as a marketing qualified lead, as a sales qualified lead. And your job as an SDR is to qualify, is to move people from lead, MQL to SQL. That is your job. And you now have access to create deals and do handoffs in a streamlined fashion. This is how it works. This is the standard operating procedure. And this is the report that I'm going to be looking at every week. I'm specifically going to be looking to see how many deals have you created. Okay? And I've set a clear guideline, a clear measurement. There's no kind of like, well, I feel like he's doing something, or look how many calls he's making. It's not about that. It's how many deals are you making? How many handoffs are you making? So we need to be doing that when we institute AI. You need to find a way to track KPIs like that. You need to have a way to have black and white reporting so that your team is clear. I think it's only fair. And we need to give them the training and resources to make sure that they're able to do it correctly. If you're going to roll out a big AI program, you can't just say, here's the software, go watch some YouTube videos. You have to lay out some better SOPs, some training. I think this is important. You can't just give someone a complicated Lego box and say, build what I see on the picture here. They're going to need some instructions to put it together, I think it's also important, guys, that we don't worry about all the tools. We don't worry about all the new things. We have to give team members on our team specific tools to solve specific tasks. We have to be careful about letting our team members get dragged into roles and jobs that aren't their specific focus. If you're in HR, don't start doing customer service. If you're a sales rep, you're not in customer success and customer experience. You have to stay focused on what your tasks are. And again, this is where having proper reporting, clear KPIs set up is important so that people know, okay, this is my focus. This is what I'm being judged on. This is how I'm being graded. I need to make sure I focus on this. And by the way, once you get clear on that, you can actually start to get them focused on specific AI tools. Just saying, here's ChatGPT, go nuts. That doesn't work, guys. We need to give them specific tools that help solve specific problems. And I'll give you an example. Again, I come from the sales and marketing growth world. That's what my focus is on. And, if I see, just as an example, hey, our speed to lead time is slow. Let's say it's 12 hours. It's taking us 12 hours to follow up with any fresh leads in the system. I can say, well, look, guys, I want you to try out this chatbot program. It's called CloseBot. I'd like you to implement it into our sales funnel so that when a fresh lead comes in, they immediately start engaging with our CloseBot. And our CloseBot's job is to act as an SDR and qualify people for sales calls. I want to see if we can get our speed to lead time down from 12 hours to 12 minutes. Do you think that's something we could work on? Let's work on it. Here's the KPIs. Here's the specific tool I want you to work within. Here's a training program. Here's a consultant or coach that you can work with. Now let's go get it. You understand? We have to give clear guidelines because our teams are completely overwhelmed with this new technology, with all the new tools, with all the new training, with the stakes. This is important. And frankly, if you're not sure exactly where to start, audit your most tedious, have your team audit their most tedious tasks. Leverage AI to follow their tools. Use a software that can monitor their clicks. That's just kind of watching what they're doing. There's a bunch of tools, guys. And if you want more ideas on the tools, I would, again, encourage you to sign up for my newsletter, aiupdate.ai. I'm breaking them down quite frequently. And let's also make sure that our teams understand that this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. This is a lifelong practice for them. There's a lot of hype right now. And, well, I think that there should be because this technology is very profound in a lot of ways. But our teams need to understand that this is not like we're going to go really hard for 2 months and then you're done. Now you've got it. This is a lifelong pursuit of learning and excellence right now, guys. This is not going to just stop overnight. Our teams need to understand that. We as founders and business leaders need to understand that. We also need to time block time, guys. We need to block out specific time in our days to learn, and we need to help our teams block out specific time for them to learn. It can't just be like, all right, guys, everyone start using AI this week, and by Saturday, if you're not using it, you're done. Put out some specific time. Say, hey, guys, on Tuesdays from 10 to 1, you're using this AI tool. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I expect to get out of it. And then by next Tuesday, we're going to follow up and we're going to look at the results. These are the key performance indicators that I'm looking at on these reports. I hope this helps. I hope this gives some perspective because the amount of confusion, concern, stress that's happening right now in our teams is pretty unprecedented. And I think the LinkedIn survey really shows that. If you like this video, guys, thanks for liking and subscribing. Leave a comment below with your thoughts. How are you implementing AI within your organizations? I'd love to hear. That's the type of stuff that helps me grow. It helps my teams grow. It helps the people on the channel grow. And if you like this video, I think you're going to really find yesterday's video interesting, where we cover another study that shows that 55% of companies actually regret laying off teams and replacing them with AI. Why is that? You're going to have to watch the video to find out. I think you'll find it very interesting. I'll put a link to it there. Thanks for watching. I'll see you there. Right? Peace.